up to 3.12, Chancellor's report.
Good evening, trustees. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm going to first turn it over to Dr. Pamela Lester from College of Alameda to give remarks.
Thank you so much. It's still a privilege and honor in week 4 to be serving at COA, and so thank you for this opportunity. In your board report tonight, you'll see a highlight of our annual partnership breakfast and the launch of COA Mobile, which has been out and about recruiting students and bringing students into COA. You'll also see our wonderful program that we had called Beyond Emancipation, which is in support of our foster youth, and a workshop that was done at CSU East Bay. And lastly, you'll hear about our college to career information, again, focused in on foster youth. I can tell you that in our next report, we'll be happy to talk about our youth career and job fair that we participated in at Encinal High School. And today we had the market, which is out of our basic needs program, and we served about 130 households with our free shelf-stable food and produce. So with that, that ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lester. I'll now turn it to Dr. Denise Richardson from Berkeley City College.
Good evening, Chancellor Gilkerson, Board President Gonzalez-Brito, trustees, colleagues, students, and members of the community. As shared in our board report, our associated students of Berkeley City College are holding their elections, which began today. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate our current ASBC on a job well done. President Christian Klichev and your leadership and that of your Senate colleagues has raised the bar for engagement, inclusivity, and communication. We're also grateful to our student trustee, Natasha Masson, for consistently representing us with grace, dignity, and compassion as a member of the board. We had the opportunity to feature some of our amazing ASBC leaders at our last BCC Spotlight podcast. So please check it out on KGPC 96.9 Peralta Community Radio website to learn more about these remarkable student stories. Last week, I had the pleasure of attending the APAHI conference titled Radical Hope, Leading with Love, Courage, and Action. In addition to experiencing the inspiring speakers and workshops, I felt the power of coalition building in a really emphatic way. As we tackle some of the systemic challenges of serving students, it is showing up in these spaces and sharing ideas for positive change that will make the difference. For example, I learned about the recent much-needed overhaul to the designation of race and ethnicity by the federal government. The question of measuring a respondent's race or ethnicity will now include 7 broad categories: white, Hispanic, or Latino, Black, or African American, Asian American, Indian, or Alaska Native, Middle Eastern, or North African, and Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander. Under the previous standards, Hispanic or Latino ethnicity was measured in a question separate from the one on racial identity. This is a huge gain for the cause of equity by recognizing the expansive nature of our diversity. Lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't share a final plug for our 50th anniversary celebration on April 23rd. I met with our DJ today, and if nothing else, you don't want to miss the music. It's going to be filled with 70s music and hits up through the current day. We will also have taco trucks with free food for everyone. For the groundbreaking ceremony, we'll be joined by Berkeley's mayor, the Honorable Jesse Araguin, our board president, Paulina Gonzalez-Brito, esteemed members of our board of trustees, our chancellor, Dr. Tammeil Gilkerson, and other special guests. So don't miss this opportunity to celebrate with us for this amazing milestone and the groundbreaking of our new building at 2118 Milvia Street. The block party will take place from 11 to 2, and the groundbreaking will begin at 2 o'clock. Please check the BCC website for any additional details. This concludes my report for Berkeley City College.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. Next up, Dr. Rudy Besikof, Laney College.
Good evening, Chancellor Gilkerson, Board President Gonzalez-Brito, members of the governing board, colleagues in education, and of course, our valued students and community members. Before I get into my remarks, I actually would like to do a quick recognition of somebody in the audience tonight, student journalist Desmond Meagley, who has been selected for a prestigious internship with the National Lesbian and Gay Journalists Association. There we go. Congratulations, Desmond. The community is invited to Laney College on Friday night at the Odell Johnson Theater at 6 o'clock for an event put on by the Merritt Conservancy. It's a project really dedicated to the further beautification of Lake Merritt and the area surrounding it. And Laney College, being a good neighbor, is participating. The event is also noteworthy because Professor Amy Borquez in biology will actually be on the panel at that event participating. And then also part of the event will be a contest around landscape architecture. And I'd like to send a shout out not only to the students in architecture who are participating, but also Department Chair Barry Yu, who's kind of been heading the effort. So that's something that's exciting. Speaking of exciting things, this is a pivotal last couple of days at Laney College because we have had our exercises for our final process for selection of our permanent Vice President of Administrative Services and Student Services that has been going on. In addition to the interview, though, I wanted to let the board and the Chancellor know that we have had forums on campus, as well as a number of activities that have included a tour of campus for the finalists and a number of things that have gone on. And those things don't just happen with, you know, the drop of a hat, so to speak. But so for that reason, I'd like to recognize several classified professionals, administrators, and faculty who went out of their way to make our finalists feel welcome as part of the process. Dean Tariq El-Jarari and Dean Inger Stark gave tours of the campus. Staff in the library, including Department Chair Yiping Wong and Reginald Constant, they were gracious hosts as we put on parts of our process, which was appreciated. And then for the forums, Marla Leach and Reginald Constant actually served as facilitators along with faculty member Heather Cisneros. But also behind the scenes, I want to thank our custodial and food services staff, along with IT staff members, including Director Chris Moore, Vu Fan, and Will Jones. And then running the whole thing out of my office was Elena Sanchez. So just a big shout out for what is a very important time for Laney College. And with that, I'll conclude my remarks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Besikof. I'll now turn to Dr. David Johnson, Merritt College.
Good evening, Chancellor, President Gonzalez Brito, trustees, colleagues, students, and community. So trustees, you have my formal report, which highlights some recent awards that our PTK chapter has garnered. The Cesar Chavez celebration that was sponsored by Puente last week, and the publication of a new book on WrestleMania penned by our environmental management faculty member, Brad Belugian, and it has already actually been favorably reviewed in the Wall Street Journal. So go pick that up and I'll take my cut. So I want to spend a few brief moments tonight highlighting just really quickly two other things. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to attend an event which was co-sponsored by our Streets Scholars Program. And that event focused on reimagining policies for people who are justice impacted. And one of the things that came out of that meeting was committing ourselves to changing the language we use surrounding student progress. Academic probation, for example, is problematic for many of our students. So I think the connotation there is obvious, but more important than the language is the intention and practices of making our policies more supportive and flexible for our students, because you can change the language, but if the process doesn't change, it's really, what does it mean? Second, just this afternoon, Merritt College held a student-led focus group that centered on the educational experiences and challenges of Black and Brown students. I appreciate Trustee Johannes for taking the time to attend and lend her voice and wisdom to that discussion. But one of the biggest takeaways was that our students expressed the need to have active and engaging campuses. That was something that came up more than once, something that would be best achieved in their view by having a greater presence of faculty, staff, administrators, and students on campus. So with that, I'll end my remarks for the night.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. So now I'll begin my Chancellor's report. I want to thank, I was honored On Thursday, March 28th, I was honored to attend Peralta's first professional development day held exclusively for classified professionals, hosted by the College of Alameda. It was a pleasure, real pleasure, actually, supporting such dedicated employees. I was so filled with inspiration and hope looking at their smiling faces. I let them know that classified professionals are shapers of culture in our district, and how proud I am that they are shaping the culture that we want here for employees in our district. I want to thank the organizing team that included Hope Blaine, Jamil Tier, Kwana Rollins, and Natasha Spivey. And also want to give a shout out to Trustee Vice President Quinlan for joining in the festivities as well. The day included speeches from the presidents, raffles for gifts, a powerful keynote on the importance of self-care for those who are responsible for helping others by Dr. Don Moultrie, and workshops on retirement planning with CalPERS and understanding boundaries to protect students and employees by ASKIP, our insurance provider. And I hear, there were some yummy tacos and dancing too. I think dancing is a theme in this district now. So let's get a move on. So congratulations to our classified professionals on an outstanding day. Last week, I participated in the first White House initiative on Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders Higher Education Leadership Development Summit on April 2nd at UC Berkeley. The day included meaningful conversations related to how institutions can improve education equity for Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander students, having community-centered discussions on policy reform, learning how to start employee resource groups on campus, and delving into professional and leadership development. I want to thank the colleagues that I also got to see there. You could see them on the slides. I want to also say that congratulations to the Asian Pacific Americans in higher education for holding a successful annual conference with the theme Radical Hope, Leading with Love, Courage, and Action here in Oakland in April from the 3rd to the 5th. With over 1,300 attendees, including 2 of our college presidents were in attendance. So appreciate being in community with them. I joined several employees and Trustee Gonzalez-Yuin in the outstanding programming and a reflection on what radical hope is, right? Which is the antithesis to trauma caused by oppressive social conditions. The theme encouraged us to adopt a reflective practice to achieve transformation through the act of radical hope, and inspires us to embody what is necessary for our healing. In the space of racial hope lies a new vision for a future without the limitations of the past. And really, at both convenings, college and university CEOs and advocates discussed the ongoing advocacy strategy for addressing the conflict with the current federal regulations related to minority serving institutions and multiple designations such as Hispanic serving institutions and ANAPISI organizations. I want to thank Dr. Richardson for joining in one of the conversations that we had at the APAHI conference. And similar to sort of the disaggregation of things, it's pitting groups against each other in the race for funding to support most needed students. And we can see here in California and nationally that many colleges have multiple minority serving institution designations and shouldn't be limited to the funding based on sort of arbitrary and old guidelines. And so we'll look forward to the trustees helping us with that advocacy strategy in the future. I also want to give a shout out to our colleagues from Laney College and Berkeley City College who provided an outstanding panel session titled Finding the Sweet Spot with Community Support Groups, a collaborative approach to increasing mental health access for AANHPI students. They shared their experience forming a mental health support group in response to the rise in anti-Asian violence 2 years ago and the recent Centers for Disease Control findings on the maddening disparity in the utilization of mental health services by Asians in the United States. The group shared some cautiously optimistic results. The presenters were Susan Yee, Sharon Kwok, David Lee from Laney College with Pumi Savayong from BCC. This is another example of thought leadership in equity matters coming from Peralta. So well done to my colleagues and thank you. You've seen it. I've been all over the streets and in the news and all these places, but we've got some light leadership opportunities here. And I'm excited to share 3 leadership opportunities within the Peralta Community College District, each offering a chance to profoundly impact our diverse community in the East Bay of Northern California. These executive level cabinet positions reporting directly to me represent pivotal roles in shaping the future of education in our district. They are College of Alameda permanent president, our deputy chancellor and chief operating officer position, and the vice president of human resources. Please help us spread the word about these leadership opportunities. Great news. We've received notification from Congresswoman Barbara Lee's office that our earmark of $850,000 has been made it past the House and Senate and now is law. This $850,000 in funding under the auspices of the Department of Justice is for reimagining California community college police training, a holistic approach to safety and health. This funding for alternative policing includes curriculum revision and expansion of the Merritt College, our outstanding Merritt College Administration of Justice program, which will further the efforts begun in 2020 and aligns with the resolution the board passed in 2021, supporting holistic safety and the creation of the new participatory governance, holistic safety, security, and wellness committee in 2023. This earmark will help us develop our efforts further. I want to thank Congresswoman Barbara Lee, her staff, the Merritt College president, Dr. David Johnson, the faculty of the Administration of Justice program at Merritt, and former interim chancellor, Dr. Jeanette Jackson, for their efforts on the proposal. I too want to congratulate citizen reporter Desmond Meagley as one of the 10 students selected nationally for the prestigious all expenses paid internship with the National Lesbian and Gay Journalist Association. Desmond will attend the upcoming convention in Los Angeles, where they will receive mentoring from reporters from the New York Times, the Associated Press, and NPR. And I got to tell you, I imagine Desmond's going to be doing a little mentorship of their own to all of these prestigious organizations. So congratulations, Desmond. You know, earlier today, the San Francisco Chronicle published a fascinating data set analyzing the acceptance and attendance rates from California community college students transferring to the University of California system. I'm pleased to report the Peralta Colleges are among the top feeder schools in the Bay Area for getting accepted to UCs. So y'all can see, this is my chart that I did this morning at like 7. I mean, I like hand went into the tool. I did a quick analysis and found that among the Bay 10 district colleges, College of Alameda has the top acceptance rate to UC statewide with an 88% acceptance rate, and was the top feeder for UC San Diego with 83% acceptance rate and UC Davis with 84%. Berkeley City College and Laney College were top 5 in the Bay Area for acceptance rates in transferring to UC Berkeley. This freshly publicized data tells a story that we already know, but many people don't say about our colleges in our district. The people of Peralta Colleges are doing great work helping students transfer to four-year universities to pursue their dreams. This is passion, purpose, possibilities being demonstrated in the data. I welcome you to go ahead and look at those data sets and have fun toying with the results like I did this morning. And finally, Eid Mubarak. Lastly, I want to acknowledge that tomorrow, April 10th, is Eid al-Fitr, an important day in the Islamic faith, as the month of long fasting of Ramadan comes to an end. The Peralta Community College District wishes blessings to you all, and this concludes my report.
Thank you, Chancellor. Congratulations on the earmark. That's a huge success. Okay, with that, we're moving to public hearing and action items. 4.1, we have a public hearing to discuss.